So we're building our tower and we're on story 2 right now. We're getting ready to build story 3, level 3 of the tower. And as you know, we're putting the friends' apartments in the tower as well. We're using 2 of the bugle sets and some extraneous parts that I bought over here. Of course, we have the Seinfeld set here on floor 2. But I just got a set that just really kind of goes with this whole vibe of the Seinfeld. And it's a new set by Lego, and it is the Fab 5 set. And I think it's probably the best apartment that Lego's ever built, and in terms of looks. So anyway, so we are going to put that in our Figsdale Tower. Take that. Well, that's turned around here. Let's see. There we go. We are going to put that in our Figsdale Tower, including the friends' apartments and things like that. We may even be able to squeeze the Big Bang in. Okay, so I got the Fab 5 set out, and I have all the parts out. It looks like there is one big bag and one small bag for each level, or each bag there. And then, of course, I have this right here. So the first thing I have to do for our tower is build the floor. Now, I'm hoping that, like the Seinfeld set, that the Fab 5 set kind of fits well in there. But if it doesn't, I can make some modifications. The Fab 5 set is a much straighter type of build, where this is kind of curved around and almost a semicircle type of thing. So that's going to be interesting, but hopefully, I mean, we'll get it all in there and everything. But I'm going to have to build, again, out of plates over here. I'm going to have to grab some of my trusty plates and build yet again another floor to set on top of here. So let me build that and see what I come up with. I'd like to, based on the Fab 5 apartment, I'd like to make the higher section right here. The problem is, if I do that, then that's going to make the building, when you look at it from afar, it's going to make the building have a section here and a section here that's higher, and it's going to look a little weird. So I'm going to have to, I'm kind of, you know, stuck to this, moving it up and having that center section be popped up all the time. But we'll see what we can do about it. I also want to let you know that the timestamp for, if you just want to bypass all of my building process and all of the things that I think about and go through, techniques and stuff that I use as I build, you can bypass that right here by going right to this timestamp, and that will take you directly to the finished version of level 3. Okay, so I have the roof or the ceiling of level 2, or the floor of level 3, however you want to do it. And I still, or whatever you want to say, I still have this stripe here, so all of this will match. And I think that stripe actually is going to look good going up in subsequent levels, especially when I kick it back one. So anyway, it is built the same way on top, if you see, with the same color plates and everything like that. Now, let me flip it over here. Oh, and by the way, please like this video. Hit that like button if you can, if you really like it. And subscribe. It's absolutely free. It doesn't cost you a darn thing. And I have over 400 videos that you can go through. Tons of MOCs. I think I have 70, 80 MOCs now. I have over 50 episodes of my Figsdale City updates with Six Figs Amusement Park. Anyway, yeah, like this video. So in order to get this built, you see I have a lot of plates on here. Now, first, let me tell you that these yellow plates are feet. So these yellow plates are for this. So when I set it here, you see how it doesn't move? That's so I can build on it. That's so I can build and it doesn't move. That's not for structure or anything. Those are just feet. Extra parts that I had, extra plates, I stuck them there. Now, I want you to, kind of a tip, when you think about, when you use several plates together and you start putting plates together and you span plates with other plates, make sure that you have several points of contact. As you see here, I have several points of contact with this big plate overlapping this plate, this plate, this plate, and this plate, and this plate. And it connects them all together. That makes the structure a lot stronger. Now, again, this is the 3rd floor, so we're getting heavier and heavier and heavier as we're going up. So I need to make sure it's structured. You see, I have those 6x1 plates right there. I obviously had to make that really reinforced and things like that. And so what happens is, when I turn it over, I don't have any weak points no points. You don't see any sagging. Even with those 6x1s there, there's no sagging, there's nothing. Now, in order to make this level, because you see I'm a plate off there on each side just because of the parts I had to use. This did not come with enough big plates to build roofs and ceilings, so I had to use my own, and so that's why the different color scheme, and that's why the raised panels and stuff. But in order to level it out so I can put all my windows on, I had to add 1-bys. And those 1-bys come in handy because those 1-bys span the plates. And what I've done is I've taken plates and I've spanned over top of all of them. Oh, there's one. So let me show you. So see how I took one by here and I put it all the way across these so it connects these two together. And so that provides even more structure as well. Okay, so as I start building this, my idea was I build the floor first in all these apartments, and then I see if the floor were transposed to the size that I have there. Well, as I started building, I just started building one section, and one section up here is ginormous, right? And so what I did was I looked over here. This is where math comes in handy. I counted studs on here, and this is 28, and this is less than 28. I can't remember how much. I think it's 24. 22 maybe studs across, so are wide. So anyway, that is not going to fit. So in other words, I'm not going to be able to take this, build it, and place it in there like I did with the Seinfeld set. So what I'm going to do is modify this and make these walls very similar to what they have here, only I'm going to modify it on this plate right here. So it will be a modified apartment, but it'll still look pretty darn sporty. So anyway, or stylish, I guess is the word. So I'll get working on that and I'll show you as I go along. Kind of anticipate this being too big for the size space that I had. So that's why I ordered these extra parts. Lucky me, so I can fill in all of this. Now this is one behemoth base plate here, or floor, and this thing's going to be stronger than this table. This spot right here, I'm leaving for the elevator because I'm going to tile and do some things like that. Okay, so as I started, I realized that this idea set, this display set, is the first one to really come with a play feature. Now, without spoiling it for you, there is a play feature here that I want to keep. It's integral to the apartment. So I will have to put that somewhere on this plate here. So now what I have to do is just basically look at how they built this mechanism and place it somewhere in here where I think it's going to go. Okay, so I'm working on the third floor, and I decided to take this off of the plate that it was on and just put it directly onto the floor because I believe I am going to try to tile this floor. Anyway, I'm going to try to tile it, but what I did was I moved this all the way over instead of in the center because, again, the model is too big to put on this floor. So I put this in the center, and you see I have the television right there so they can still watch TV. There'll be the big windows out here that'll face toward the Figsdale Main Street and stuff like that. The kitchen area I've started on. I love this kitchen. It is absolutely great. This fridge here, and for those of you that haven't seen it, it actually opens up if I didn't have such big thumbs, and you can actually see all kinds of details and stuff in this. So let me open this side up here without tearing it up. There we go. So look at all the details. So there's actually stuff in the fridge. I love it. It's on jumpers back there. You can take it off anytime you want and use it. Espresso machine, all that kind of stuff. So what I did here though is normally this would be in the model. This would be, these burners would be directly facing or directly parallel to this sink, which the sink is absolutely fabulous the way they did that. And then they had 4 stools lined up against the bar here. But I can't do that because I need room in here in which to go out to the elevator and stuff like that. So I put 2 chairs up. I think it looks good. Offset this just a smidge. Still looks good. Still has that triangle effect for anyone who is working in the kitchen. Now, the great thing about these prints, just in case, just as an extra bonus to think about, if you put these up and you make them vertical as these prints, they can become speakers. You can use this. There's the big subwoofer, or there's the big woofer and the tweeter right there. They can become really cool speakers as well if you put them in a vertical position, or they can be stove burners. So, and I'm sure there's other uses for them. But anyway, that's what I'm doing. I'll have the elevator here. I'm going to have their their cabinet right here, and a couple of other things going on. And then I got to figure out how to get all of that transformation stuff and even the play feature all on this side right here. And that's a lot to cram in there and still make it look decent. So we're going to keep working. Now here's a good example of tiny detail that can cause a lot of problems. So I did have this Queer Eye TV, a flat screen TV. So it was like this, and I had it set on like this, right? But what happens is, pay no attention to that, that would have been black, but when I tried to put a wall up, look, there's this stud that interferes. And so that makes this crooked. Well, I can't do that. So that is a little tiny detail that's a problem that can cause major problems in a build or a mock. So I just flipped the screen over, as you see, flipped it over so it's more of an indentation type of television, an old type TV, and flipped this around, and I have one stud extra space before my walls for the building, and that allows for that little stud to be right there. And it still looks pretty cool. So those little details can trip you up. And if I would have started building that wall, then I'd have had to take it all down. So make sure that you look for little tiny details like that as you start to modify some of these types of builds. Now I've got all of this, which is a rather large expanse. It's 18 or 20, I mean, not 20, it's 18 studs wide. I have all of that to fit into this little space here, which is a 12 stud wide space. So I'm going to have to really truncate it, shrink it down. And so I've put this back here. I still have the feature on here, and I'm trying to get my chair where my mirror will be, and then I'll build up my walls around it. So yeah, so that's kind of coming along slowly but surely. And I have to make sure that, because I'm putting this in the back, because after all, you know, these are wonderful, wonderful torsos. I'm not sure, the hands kind of freak me out a little bit. I kind of feel like I should take the hands off of them to make them more realistic. Of course, this is not realistic, but still. But I have to leave an extra stud space so that I can put and this is not the wall, but so that I can put a wall up there. And you see that very, very just by a hair. And of course, I can adjust these torsos as well. And if I take the hands off, it'll even be better and won't look as creepy. I'm starting the tile job right now, and I'm going to tile in this whole floor. But remember, if you want to stand your minifigures, you're going to have to put some jumper plates. This gives the minifigure 2 spots to stand. You could put 1 or 2 by 2 with just the jumper in the middle. Those 2 actually can give you a lot more places to stand, especially like when they're in the chair and stuff. Now over here, you see, you're going to have to do some figuring out of where your spaces are going to be and how many parts you have. Because one of the things you don't want to do is run out of parts. So I'm going to be probably frantically looking for a 1x tile to put in there. This spot here is being held until I can find a 2x2 tile, not tile, plate to go in there with the studded plate, so I can put something on there. But anyway, you just got to look in all the nooks and crannies and make sure you have, now see, there's 3 there, which means I'm going to need 2 of, or I'm going to need, you know, 1 of these and 1 of these all the way across the tile there. So just make sure when you're doing tile jobs and stuff that you count for all those little tiny corners and all those little pieces. And sometimes you can work the tile so that you can actually cover up every single stud. Also, when doing tile jobs, look at places where you have plates coming together, and that's when you want to try to use a bigger tile and put those spanning, if you can count. I mean, if you can count the right studs and they fit in the right space. See, there's a 2 space there, and everything is done by 2s. So therefore, I'd be able to connect all of those together, and that would work as well. Now, the other thing to do is put stuff on jumpers, so that way, when you have to get in here, and you see I only have 3 right there, well, I want to put this long tile right here. And so, you know, to be able to do that, and then to do my tiles under here and all that kind of stuff. So put stuff on jumpers, that way you can take it off when you do your tile job. Okay, now here is the set. Now I just want you to take a look at what the set looks like if you build it to specifications. Okay, and then I will show you my final build. So if you look at this here, you see it's rather expansive. I mean, it's really large, to be quite honest with you. And as we look at the back, you can see how it's all spaced out and everything. It looks really good. So that is the official version. Here's my Figsdale Tower, and this is my interpretation of the Fab 5 Loft. So let's take a look. So of course I couldn't put everything in the same spot that it would go in, but I think I did a decent job of being able to make everything that the model comes with in this particular build. So you see I have the living room there. I did forget the coffee table. Hold on 1 minute. I can put the coffee table in here. That's not a problem. We can put it right in there. But I have everything. Now, of course, I don't have the walls up of the Figsdale Tower because, you know what, they're just going to look like that. It's all going to be the same all the way up. And so I thought you really are watching this video because you wanted to see how I built and integrated the Fab 5 model into this. So you see I did everything there in terms of the living room. I did put the television over here. So once I left a stud all the way around, one stud for the wall. So once I put the walls of the building up, this will actually kind of have a three-dimensional look, and there'll be a gray wall behind there. But I did want to use a lot of those masonry bricks that came with this set. And I wanted to use every element that was important, like the style, taste, and class element over there. I added kind of a little light fixture here. This right here is where the elevator will be. So for the Fab 5 Loft, they'll just use their key and they'll go right up to the elevator. I had a friend who owned a house in a condo in an apartment, and that's how he got into his. Just took the elevator and it opened right into his living room. So anyway, I used this. I put this here. This is the exact same cabinet that is in the set. And as you can see, I have all the signs and all of the proper accoutrements, so to speak, in terms of the kitchen and all that sort of thing. And I think, like I mentioned before, I had to offset. Whoa, there goes a plant. I had to offset the kitchen and the island and stuff. We only got 2 chairs there. I could have put another one there, but then that makes it a little tight to get through there. You see, I put the big plant back there as well. But there is room for minifigs to stand back there and prepare meals, things like that. There are these awesome fridges that I showed you. I put the idea board up in the wall just like it is, and everything like that. So that, I think this part right here looks as close to similar as possible. I actually, to be quite honest with you, like the incorporation of the television. And of course, all of this will be nothing but windows. It'll look just like this. So like you see Jerry Seinfeld's apartment in there, and especially once it's lit up and everything, you're gonna see the Fab 5's loft in here as well. Now this is the part here that I had to really, really shorten because it was, I think it was 18 studs long, but I only had 12 studs in which to work. So I don't have the one shelf. I don't have all of the hangers, and if you on the real model, there's hangers that hang purses and satchels and things like that. I don't have that, but I put one right here just to kind of, at least to get one in, right? There's the mirror and the chair and everything there, so you can kind of get your makeover. And right here is the door that leads to the feature, which is really cool. Let me show you the feature here. So for instance, and if you haven't seen this on a review, I really like it. So this person comes in and they go in, they have their mullet, and they're just really kind of dowdy and everything like that. Well, they go in and they change in this room back here, and then when they come out, voila, they are totally made over. And I really like that feature. But in order to incorporate that feature, I didn't want to lose the dressing room. So what I did was I made this because this is going to be windows here, and all around here. This will be windows just like down here, and so you'll be able to see all of this from the apartment. So what I did was I kind of stepped this down to hide this mechanism in here, and so that way you won't see it, but when you look at it through the window, you'll see this nice white brick kind of, I guess, subway tile is what it's supposed to represent. But you'll also be able to look in here, and I made the dressing room back here. So I put all the torsos, I put all of the shirts with their freaky hands still on. I put, wouldn't that be cool if we could just change shirts and get different hands? That'd be kind of interesting. We'll go for the scissor hands today. Anyway, and so you see I put all the pants and the purses and the hats and the hairs and everything like that. I did have to move this sign from where it was, I believe in the kitchen or living room or something like that, and I put it in the back in this dressing room. So you get the dressing room, and of course on the back, this will all be walled up just like this is here, and will continue on just like it does down there. And so you'll have some electrical wire that'll come in through here, the back here, just like it does down here. And then you'll be able to have the USB cable and stuff like that running for the LEDs. So that's what I have for my interpretation of the Queer Eye Fab 5 Loft. It fits into the Figsdale Tower, and it's going to, again, it's pretty much just going to look just like this in terms of up here will be all glass. Around the side will be pretty much the same type of stuff. I did buy a lot of bricks, however. I bought a lot of bricks so that I can try to make this more solid gray as opposed to having a hodgepodge of stuff. The back, of course, will look just like it does on the second story here. See how it looks there? And you'll see that because I will I will fill all of this in with gray brick so that it'll look like this. So anyway, so that is, and I just think that back room actually looks better with this hanging in it, to be quite honest, because this person goes back here, this is where they change, right? Now, they can pick out their clothing, of course, and we all know that from the series, but I just thought that'd be kind of cool to have that all in the back room. So let me know your comments down below. Like this video if you like what I did, if you like watching it and all that sort of thing. I know, again, I didn't finish the outside of it, and I will finish that and probably put a video up, or maybe even do it on a live stream. Actually, I think that's what I'll do, is a live stream of me finishing up the outside. But you didn't come for that. You came to look at my interpretation of the Queer Eye Fab 5 Loft. So that is it, and let me know what you think in the comments below, and appreciate you sticking with us here on the channel. And please subscribe to this channel if you haven't. It's totally free, doesn't cost you anything. We have over 400 videos. You can check out all my MOCs. You can check out over 50 city updates of my huge city and amusement park that I had and that we're going to be rebuilding and stuff like that. And you can also join as a member if you'd like. Don't forget to check me out on Instagram. I post more pictures and things like that of my work on Instagram at Drmcbrick. Also available merchandise at the Teespring Drmcbrick General Store, and I have some of my mock instructions available up on rebrickable.com. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed this version of the Figsdale Tower. We're going to move on to version number 4, or floor number 4, once I get that walled in, and then we're going to start with the friends, and we'll have Joey and them's apartment, and then we'll have Rachel and their apartment up top, and that will be it for the Figsdale Tower. This is Dr. McBrick signing out.